So welcome back to the Spiritual Teachers Podcast. With me today is two of my spiritual teachers that I've had the honor to work with. Their names are Denise and Michael. Denise and Michael have a business called the Alchemy, the Soul of Transformation, which is main goal is for uniting the light body with the soul. And they offer Ascension classes, retreats, meditation, and advanced esoteric teachings. As well as they have a Global Awareness Charitable Trust, which is more for the planetary service, working with Vedic people, Mamos, Kogis, and that goal is for planetary ascension and DNA activation. Welcome on, Denise and Michael. It's such an honor to have you both.
It's so good to see you.
Yeah, thank you for having us, Peter.
Yeah,
thank you for so several years now. And it's so great that you invited us here to be with you today.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here with you guys in this beautiful space that you've cultivated. It's amazing. It's my first time here, and I've seen videos, and it's really beautiful. I love what you guys have done.
And we're big fans of yours. We've been watching you travel over the world. I think first met you in California, and then you came to Matatipalo with us. And your father's here and locally in the area. And your podcast is just great. It's great momentum. I'm loving that you share it with the world. It's beautiful.
Thank you so much. I mean, the world is awakening, so we need to keep sharing with people what's out there, what's possible, what paths they can take, and that's the intention of the podcast, is just to share what is available, and people can resonate and take what they connect with and leave the rest. So some of the topics we may cover today are Michael and Denise's awakening journeys, twin flames and divine union, and then global light body and DNA activation. So
it's a mouthful.
Yeah, it's a mouthful, and those are just, some of the things that I'm sure, just the tip of the iceberg. I'm sure we're going to get much deeper than that. So, Denise, would you be open to sharing how everything started for you?
Yeah, I was raised in a very traditional family, Catholic. Always had gifts as a kid. Was very intuitive, could see between the realms, and thought everybody did till I realized they didn't, and kind of learned to navigate the real world or the muggle world the best I could. Mm-hmm. And so I, went to school like everybody else in college and had a traditional career. Was in the corporate world for many years in architecture and design and construction. And pretty much had two lives. I had my spiritual life and my things that I knew, and then I had my work life and kind of the normal world. And at some point, those worlds need to meet.
Right. And
it's very difficult to be two people all the time. So, I just started studying all kind of spiritual books, and Spirit always guided me to places and trips and experiences, and I'd end up in Hawaii studying with Hunas for a month, and I'd end up, doing all kind of crazy things because I always listened to my inner guidance system. And I was in a point, it was in around 2011, 2012, where I really was seeking, I would say, more spiritual discipline. Mm-hmm. I really needed, I had studied with a lot of different teachers, traveled all over, and which led me to a saint in India in her studies, and really dove into devotion and humility and service, and really what it was like to be nobody. Mm-hmm. In a world where I was somebody, or I thought I was somebody. Mm-hmm. So that kind of started my path, and it was really a personal journey of deep inner work and a lot of meditation. Yeah. Hours and hours and days, and a lot of silent retreats. And so I really dove in fully, and in that process, I was not looking for a relationship. I met Michael. Mm-hmm.
So this saint that you went to visit in India, was Michael studying with her as well?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. What was her name?
Saima. Her name was Her Holiness Saima.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And is she still on the physical plane?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she has a place down in Naples, Florida.
Okay.
Yeah. And she has an ashram in India, Varanasi.
Oh, okay.
Has a pretty big community and following, and so
Cool.
yeah.
Okay, so that kind of transitions into your story, right, Michael? And I'm really curious what brought you into the monk life and how things evolved into that to the point where you met Denise.
Well, I wasn't living two lives. I was living the be a success in the world life, and so, you're young and you kind of create the scenarios. How can I serve the planet the best? Create some business, some kind of great thing that you can bring out to the world, bring some service, right? And so in my mind, success was having a great job, wearing nice suits, having a nice condo, and then from that platform, build some kind of business that would be of service to the world, right? Mm-hmm. And very quickly, I kind of went into mortgage banking, and I kind of got the suits and got the nice condo in Rockville, Maryland, and success in the business, and then somebody said to me, "You're not the guy." We were sitting over lunch. He says, I thought I was the guy that you would call when your wife threw you out, or you got picked up by the police, or that guy you could really depend on, that you're your best friend, right?" Mm-hmm. And then my friend looked at me in the dead eye. I was like, "Totally serious. You're not that guy."
Okay.
And I'm like, how did I thought I was that guy, and I'm over here being caught up in all the materialism of what I thought success was. And if you'd have looked at me, it was success, but I was miserable inside. Miserable.
Well, the majority of the world, that's how they perceive success, right? It's
we're programmed.
Yeah, it's like we're programmed to want all the money, the Ferrari, the big house, it's what people strive for in a lot of ways, and a lot of times it doesn't give them that, right?
By all benchmarks, I was a success.
Right.
But in the inner world, I was living the same mental thoughts. I was a robot. Same thoughts every day. Same concerns, same worries, same got to get money, same whatever, right? And I said, how am I going to break out of this, And I went inside. I was like, Denise, I had some books that I was looking at, but I would always go to the library, and then somehow in the library or in a bookstore, the right book would come, and it would always be about meditation, And then I kept aligning with the meditation. It's like, meditation, okay, let me meditate a little bit here.
Right.
To figure out what it is I wanted, and what I kept dialing down to was love. That's really... If I could be love, would there be suffering? Would there be peace? Would I care what anybody said?
Right.
Doesn't matter what kind of car you're driving when you got love.
Love, yeah. So that was kind of what led to the search. Is I wanted to experience love, be more of love, and then the books kept coming, and the opportunities. The soul kind of started to take over, started to giving you things and platforms, and then all of a sudden it's like 5 years later, and you're like wanting to be out of the mortgage banking world, and Spirit has another plan for you. You have to learn patience, right? And then, okay, sell your house, and you're going to move to Colorado, right? I thought I was going to move into the Boulder community and be part of that community, but the teacher was like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, would you that if you move, there's a chance you're gonna have to go into the ashram, and you're gonna have to become a brahmachari, and I don't think I wanted all those things. It wasn't like I wanted to be a monk, right?
Right.
I want to be a monk. I was American football player. I played football. And an engineer, and now I was a banker. But I was like, okay, but if and then all those things came. I kept saying yes to them, right? So I spent 5 years in Crestone and an ashram there, and then got called to India. And again, it's like one of those things where, like, in your heart, you go, I've been to India. You know, India's not an easy life. It's hot.
Yeah.
I think it's hot here.
And if you're a Westerner, where you're used to all these comforts, to go to India, where you're given up, and there's noise, and there's cows, and there's dogs, and then of course I got called to Varanasi of all places, and outside my personality was like, no, and inside the heart was like, did that, you know, the little, oh, I gotta go, and then all of a sudden you say yes to that, and everything lines up, and then you end up in India, and you're in the teacher, and you're running some programs where you're bringing people from all over the world to the Kumbh Melas and to Varanasi, which is like it's the home of Lord Shiva. So it's like a very sacred place for the Hindus. Everyone wants to transition from that place. It's called the City of Lights. It's the City of Enlightenment. It was designed by the rishis to be a conduit of the energies for fast enlightenment. So that's where we met. I did 5 years there.
Right.
Because spirituality, like you said, when you were talking about being in an ashram, you thought this ashram was going to be this utopian place where, kumbaya.
Yeah, people are levitating and everybody's peaceful. Right.
And it's kind of the opposite, right? It's the polarity of what you think. There's a duality in it, right? Everybody's in the purpose of spiritual alignment. So you have the soul level, and the soul levels are like moving the chess pieces around, but the personalities aren't quite awakened yet.
Right.
They're still dealing with the mental belief systems, right? And they're still living with the traumas that are to keep their hearts from being hurt. And all the childhood things that their parents didn't do or they wanted them to do, and they couldn't speak them, right? So now they're all buried, and you got to go to the ashram. From a soul perspective, everybody's being moved around to trigger the other person. So it's like this war between the personalities. But if you can remember that you're there and that the soul's doing, I'm triggering, the energy will come up, I can love them afterwards. Then you have to restore integrity and go back and So
that's a huge point. You know that a lot of people nowadays with the Tinder and everything like that, it's like you can swipe right and just move on to the next one. But a lot of people don't think about how spirit plants these people in our life for us to really have this experience of having the opportunity in that moment to really address and look at those deep-rooted programs and that deep aspect of self, right? Where it's like, okay, I see, okay, that happened there, now it's happening again. And okay, why is it happening again? What do I need to shift inside myself in order for this to shift for me? And because a lot of times these relationships, and any type of relationship, friendships, romantic, it doesn't matter, they will show up just with a different face if you just keep swiping right. They just keep showing up and trying to give us those lessons until we get it, and I feel like a ashram like that would be even more supercharged with that, where it's like showing you all your stuff as much as you can take, really, right? Until you face it.
We have it here when a lot has happened on this property, a lot of sacred ceremony, a lot of really potent, powerful, beautiful teachers have done work here. And we've had people come and just get triggered when they drive on. Right. People start to throw up, we're like, what's happening? Clear. And you don't realize, energy first, and then you got to catch up to it. So it's a frequency. Ashram's the same way. It will amplify anything that needs to be moved out.
I think what you were speaking about, which is, I think, is a great thing to presence, because we talk about the awakening journey, but what is the awakening part of the journey? It's that personal responsibility. It's, I'm taking responsibility for my trigger. I'm triggering. You're triggering, but we always project it on the other person. It's the other person's
they're
fault.
doing this to me, right?
They're doing it to me,
right?
But really, I have the frequency in me, and your soul is mirroring it for me.
Right.
So that's the responsibility. It's when we abstain from responsibility, it's the other person's fault. But when it's everything's coming from within me, and that's showing me where I need to change, right?
For sure.
That was a beautiful thing that I thought your presence did.
Yeah, thanks for highlighting that. I mean, I think being back in Pennsylvania right now, it's like the family dynamic. They say, I think it's a quote from Ram Dass, it's like spend a week with your family when you think you're doing great. And it'll really
We're about to head into that this weekend.
Yeah, it'll really show you where you're at, you know.
Have a couple kids, you'll see.
Well, for me, I took a trip with my father and my partner, and we went up to Maine to Acadia National Park for 4 days, and it just like highlighted these aspects, these awarenesses, right, of like where I had been carrying the programs from the lineage, and it's at this point in my life where it's like so uncomfortable because I actually really see it in my face, and it's like, okay, I see why there was these different aspects of self, you know, that had shown up in different parts of my life in the ways that it did, and how it was limiting and sabotaging in certain moments and those kind of things. So yeah, talk about mirrors. I think relationships, family, and then like romantic relationships give that clearest mirror for us, is what I found.
That's again the personal responsibility. It could have been your father's fault, right? But you went inside, you saw it was the lineage, you saw it was the DNA, you saw that it was, you inherited it, but it wasn't as a victim, it was because your soul had a mission. Your soul's to clean up that frequency in your blueprint, right?
Yeah.
Lucky you.
Yeah. Well, I feel like for the people, speaking of the awakening, right, the people that do find that's our responsibility for the whole lineage. We may be the first ones that are actually taking that responsibility and be like, you know what, it stops with me, and I'm not going to continue it on to the people that I interact with, my lineage, whatever that looks like. You know, it could be a soul family, it could be actually our offspring, it can be, you know, different ways that we branch off.
Yeah, I will say, you know, so many people think awakening is bliss and unicorns and rainbows and butterflies and roses, and sometimes it is.
There are some aspects of that, yeah.
Awakening is hard to do.
Yeah.
And it's work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's real, like you said. You're taking responsibility not only for yourself, but the lineage, the patterns, not only for in your family unit, but your gender or your belief system or your religious beliefs or your community, or, you know, I mean, whatever it is, it's when we're now doing it on a collective level. So as things rise, you know, the separation between us it's going away. So we feel like, look at the weather. We were talking about the weather, you know. That's the collective speaking. It's Earth, and she's, you know, doing her thing, and it's our consciousness that's manifesting in all the elements. So yeah, I
mean, what you just shared brings up this conversation I had with one of my buddies recently, and he's like, I just feel so stuck, like I just keep trying and it's not moving the way I want it to. And I was just reminding him, like, a year ago you were asking for what you have now, and
you're a good friend,
you know, and also it's like we are co-creators, you know, and it's when we have a responsibility to continue to follow spirit, and also we have a say, right? Like, we can ask for the things that we need in order to continue to be of service, and in order to continue to have our needs met, whether that's financial, you know, like whatever ways, you know. And
well, again, when you start to take that awakening, which is you start to take the personal responsibility, what does that look like? It's like, oh, I'm responsible for my frequency.
Right.
I'm responsible. What am I putting out? If I'm putting out love, then I'm going to get love. There's that response that you get. If I'm going to put out
all those
anger,
traffic lights go green.
Right.
Wave to you instead of honk. You know?
Yeah. Right. And so, like your friend, for example, you know, he's got ingrained in the brain, ingrained in the patterns of looking at things from a certain viewpoint.
Right.
Like the lack.
Mm-hmm.
I'm missing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get this, right? I didn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
That's all still looking from lack. And then you come and you say, but you've done this.
Mm-hmm.
You last year you were here, this year. He's
Right.
not looking at it from that perspective of, we are always looking back at the lack.
Mm-hmm.
And our responsibility is to look at what we want to create. We're co-create. We want to create love, so we have to be in the frequency of love.
Mm-hmm.
If we want to create togetherness, we have to feel it, right?
Absolutely.
So many people's heart are not open yet. They still have that trauma where the emotional baggage that's in the way of truly letting their feelings of what they really want be felt and shown.
Mm-hmm.
And trauma serves. I mean, it does.
Oh, for sure.
It does open people's hearts. We've seen people come to their knees where there probably was no other way that they were. Illness is an expedited way to awakening.
Yeah.
A breakup, a severe loss. Anything like that is.
That's how my awakening.
Track,
That's how my awakening started. It was the deep heartbreak, and then for several years I was just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Speaking of twin flames, right, where it was like I didn't know what that term was. I didn't know anything. I just felt this deep connection with this woman, and I was like, it's unlike anything I've ever felt, and it was so pure and like very just. It's hard to put into words for people that haven't experienced it,
Mm-hmm.
but I just felt like that it was something unexplainable, and I wanted some answers. I wanted to figure out what it was, and so I'm like, basically inside myself, I'm like bowing to Creator. I'm driving, but I'm like crying, and I'm like, please show me like what this is, why it's been 3 years, I still feel like this, like please. I'm just like fully surrendering, and then the sky kind of like opened up, the sun shined down like a beam of light, and then my Kundalini shot up, and I didn't know what it was in the moment, right? And then I'm driving to a Kundalini yoga class, my first ever, and then I take that, and my third eye blasts open, and I'm like, whoa, what is this, right? I start seeing past lifetimes with this woman, and then right as I walk out of the class, there's this woman doing card readings and things like that, and I tell her, I'm like, what do you think this relationship is? Like, she's like, oh, that's your twin flame, just like really nonchalantly, right? and I'd never heard of that before, and 3 years in, and she's like, oh yeah, just look it up, it's a thing, and it like blasted open this world for me where there's this whole community and people talking about it and relating in different ways about it, and it was just so profound to see that I wasn't the only one experiencing it, number one, and number two, that like there was this support system for that, and everything started opening up from there, and so the spirit just started reminding me of things I knew in past lives, and the more I learn, the more I realize past lives are actually, I mean, I don't know anything anymore, but it seems as though they're happening simultaneously. It's not really past, it's like all at once, there's no time, so it's all
spherical.
Yeah, it's all like spherical, spiral, we can access those things in different dimensions, as I learned.
The twin flame relationship is the same as an ashram.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy work,
mm-hmm.
and it is beautiful. There's the beauty, and it's the contrast, and we learn through contrast. We're in a dual planet, a dualistic planet. This is what we came here to experience and to help transform and heal and teach ourselves and each other and all the rest of it. So there is a lot of. And I would encourage anybody to be your own spiritual detective and do your own research and not believe everything you hear, but see what feels right within you. Say, this feels right to me. This resonates with me. But so many people label it and then they attach to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's our attachments that really cause a lot of suffering.
For
right?
sure.
So and it's all this expectation on another person. When you can just, like, and you were seeking, you know, why am I feeling this way? What am I doing? You know, when you can detach from it, because awakening is an inside job.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
You know,
Yeah.
it's you with you, and there's nobody else, and you can hide all you want, but it's, you know, you keep coming back to, there I am.
Right.
So to me, with the twin flame, soulmate, divine union, there's a lot of different threads, but the twin flame relationship, based on my understanding, is a quick way to awaken and clear your patterns, your programs, your personality, you know, kind of divinize your personality and really, really go back to the love.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't make it. A lot of flames come only together for a short period of time, or exist and aren't together in a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
That's not uncommon. It's actually more common, or, you know, someone's physically incarnated and the other flame is somewhere in another reality, right?
Yeah.
So it's many different ways. I mean, for me, I wasn't looking and you know, is Michael my twin flame? Are you my soulmate? Are you, you know, I'm not, I mean, I would say we have a divine union.
Mm-hmm.
Is probably the term I'm probably most comfortable with.
Yeah.
I don't want to speak for Michael, but that union came from the union with God first.
Absolutely.
And in that union with God, it's not about praying to God. It's about really, really doing your own inner work and really having that relationship that nothing else matters. No person, no relationship, no ring on a finger, or no certificate, none of it.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, a union comes, whether it be female, female, male, 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 female, whatever it is, you know, that is based on that love of God, and is nourished by that love upon love upon love, that bliss charge love, that Kundalini awakening. You know, everything does get going, but it's not about the sex part. I mean, although that's part of it, and that's beautiful, and it's wonderful to share that energy. It's an energetic connection. It's a love connection, deeper than anything you can really put your finger on.
Yeah, it's so much deeper than any of that. It's like the intimacy was like a desire to just like merge with God, like merge with oneness, and for you guys that wasn't even available right in the beginning, because
we were on different parts of the world.
Yeah.
I was in Philadelphia and he was in Varanasi.
Varanasi, India.
And he was a monk, right?
Yeah,
and I would never,
yeah.
like, to me, because of my work and my spirituality, I would never want to come between any person and God.
Yeah.
And I would never wanted to do that for, I mean, I honored where he was in his path, you know, and wasn't like, make a choice. No, I didn't want that responsibility.
When did you know that you wanted to transition out of the ashram life?
That took a couple months. You know, it was a big 180. Right?
Yeah.
You know, your life is service to God.
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like? You know, within India they would call that enlightenment.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have, in that service, we came together because we had a project. You know, we wanted to build this ashram in India for a female saint, right?
Mm.
And an ashram in India is, especially in Varanasi, mostly men. It's very masculine energy.
It's pretty amazing.
You know, it's the like anchored there is Shiva. They said Shiva lives there, so it's very kind of a masculine energy, right? To bring a female energy, which is Mother Ganga that goes through that energy, right? To anchor that vortex or that temple on Mother Ganga. It took a while, right? And so we were kind of stuck in that. So I was looking for people that would be in the energy of creating energetically as opposed to pushing through personality, fundraising, and
we gotta make 10 calls, we need brochures, you know,
Right.
the 3D model.
we're gonna have a global fundraising thing we're gonna raise. And I'm like, let's energetically, let's get in the energy of the attention.
Yeah.
and work. So we called some people I thought would be interested, and then slowly but surely they all kind of weaned out. It was just Denise and I.
Oh, I believe in the energy. Like, I was like, it's all energy.
Working on the energy.
Let's create it in the ethers, and then it'll land. So yeah.
So we came to this project of service, right? The service to create a planetary, focus for the divine feminine, and in that energy of service, we came together, and the energies of the vortex of the masculine and the feminine that we were each holding, that we each spent years clearing our own fields, came together. And that love upon love that you felt, right, opened the heart, right? And it was this opening that at the time, you don't know what's going on. It's like a collision of worlds.
We were just like, wow, this feels great.
Right? Yeah, like, a collision of worlds, and this love upon love, and you want to share it with everybody, right? That's what you want to do, is share it with everybody, right?
Yeah.
That's all you want to do, is share it with everybody.
We did.
Yeah.
And that's such an important part that we miss, is that we're human, and we're one species, and our abundance is in the sharing of it. Whether it be love, whether it be money, whether it be just care, how you share that is how you get more of the. You don't want to get abundance; you want to share God. Right? So anyway, that happened, and it was from a planetary service, and we're like, oh wow, that's when a calling kind of came, a new calling came, and it was to serve in a new way, not just my own personal enlightenment journey. Now there's this planetary working with another partner, divine couple relationship, and like Denise said, it's kind of can be like an ashram there too.
Yeah.
Where you
like the first period is like amazing, right? And then at like a year and a half too, and then it's like all of a sudden the personality starts, those little crevices you thought you took care of, right? But you go back to the love. You go back to that love. So sorry, interrupting.
No, it's okay, because like what keeps coming back to me, the personality never forgets, but the soul always. But the soul always forgives.
Always.
Right? Because you have to forgive, or else the personalities just keep building up the traumas between
That's when
you.
I say people don't make it.
That was so.
Yeah, the ego gets too in the way.
So much so.
Well, that's what happened with you when you said that. Is like you got on your knees without surrender, without humility. The ego won't crack.
Right.
If you're not willing to be and humble and surrender and bow in front of the bow
Pride,
and get on your knees, if you're not willing to do that, then you're gonna have to go through some really difficult times to get to get your face to this. You'll get some humility
for sure.
Whereas you went there. You said, like, I'm ready now. I'm ready to surrender, and you surrendered, and then you had the experience of your soul coming in and rearranging your life.
Yeah, and I think to add on top of that, it's really important to ask. Like I asked, right? Like I was like, please, like I'm asking, please, like give me the guidance, give me the clarity, and for a lot of people that piece is missing. They're not asking. They're just like, either expecting, or they're doing it in different ways where they're not looking to their guides or to creator or whatever ways that they relate to the higher realms. They're and to me that was like the crucial piece, because I was like kind of trying to figure it all out, and I was reading books, and I was doing all kinds of stuff trying to do it, but until I asked, that was the decided, like the differentiating factor,
Your intention,
right?
They fulfill
and surrender.
Yeah, that the surrender and the gratitude, right? Like truly, like being like, oh my God, thank you for everything, and please.
So we reached that point, right, where we were in this love upon love, and the egos were like getting thrown away or burned or whether cauterized or whatever, and then the love is there, and so we were in with the teacher, and we like, how can we serve with this love?
We wanted to serve there. Like, we were so naive. We thought we could serve the community with that, and it it didn't go over very well.
Okay. Yeah.
It was like,
It was not met with compassion.
It was like, bye-bye.
Yeah.
See you. So it was hard. I mean, I was really attached to the community and the teacher, and you know, I grieved. It was a grieving process, you know, and scary. You know, it was like all of a sudden I was like, it was.
And once you're in like an ashram or a brahmachari commitment, you make a brahmachari commitment. It's like
leaving a marriage.
It's like I'm committed to God first.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, am I losing my chance at God here in this lifetime? Am I choosing, you know, by leaving that relationship, right? So it's like a crux, but you have to make a decision, right? And what is your inner guidance telling you?
Mm-hmm.
The personality is saying all these fears, and then the inner guidance is like, let's go over here where the love is. You got to follow the love, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, right or wrong, whether how they reacted was perfect.
Yeah, it was so perfect.
To get us to have a clean break.
Mm-hmm.
Or teach us. I mean, we learned a lot of good, great,
and we learned
amazing.
Oh my God, in India for
gifts,
5
so
years,
many
and
gifts.
5 years in an ashram.
No regret, no remorse, no. The other thing was we were in different parts of the world, so we had not touched. We had not physically. This was across Zoom in meetings, meditating on the plans from the architect, you know, to create the etheric. So that sexual, like, oh, I think they're cute, or I'm going to go out and get fixed up. None of that was there. I was like, it was like raw and unfiltered of just two people that really wanted to serve, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in that was the purity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, didn't have all this distortion. And then Michael got moved to Boston. And so then we were in the same time zone, but still in different cities.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, it was like we were working on it. And when all of this started to kind of come untethered, we still didn't know what we were. Like, we just knew we loved each other. There was a deep love, but it was like, well, you know, how is this going? And when you said you were leaving, he called me. I thought it was to say goodbye. Like, he called me, you know, can you Zoom? We hadn't talked for a little while, and I thought he was going to wish me a nice life, and I'm all prepared, and I'm ready, you know, because I love him. I want him to be with God first, and I would get over it. So he says, what are you doing Friday? Can you pick me up at the Philadelphia airport? My flight is in at 12:30. I'm like, what? Like, wait, what? And so this whole then fear of like, oh my, like, yes, I can pick you up. Yes, I'm excited. And like, I had been celibate for a long time. He had been like, does anything work? Like, what? I mean, it was like this whole flood of like, you know, normal day, like things you think about. And then we just let it all go of expectation. There was no expectation what we were going to be. There was no expectation of any kind of future or plan. It was like, okay, the next step is get to the airport, pick him up, and see what happens. And so when I picked you up and we hugged for the first time, like physically touched, it was we couldn't let each other go. It was like electric, you know, just so electric. And then it was like even more powerful because it was beyond, you know, the technology. You know?
For sure.
So then it just like I've been by your side ever since. We've kind of been inseparable, but you know, it worked that way. It wasn't our plan. It was somebody else's big plan up there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, your souls knew.
Yeah.
On a soul level.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your soul. I believe our souls make these agreements and contracts before we come in, and on some level, they definitely knew that this is kind of one of the ways it could work out.
And for me, because I'm a planner by training, you know, I'm a predictability, planning, lists, you know, the biggest challenge for me was no expectation on him. Never, like, you know, and I still haven't mastered it, right? I always have lists and expectations.
We all have lists.
You know, but it was like really it really taught me to be in the present moment if I really wanted to explore and be in this authentically. And so it was a constant reminder within myself of how I showed up with him.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you were talking, it made me think about kind of where I've gone from since that moment I met that person, right? And I've had many different relationships since then, and each one taught me a lot, and about myself and about what I really wanted, right? Like I was narrowing down, like, okay, that's not gonna work, you know, for me, or I really like those aspects, and it kept kind of titrating for me. And what I've found in this moment where I'm at is that relationship creator gives us what is needed for our highest growth. And that person back then chose, I remember distinctly having a conversation with her. I said, I'm starting this awakening journey. I can feel it. Like I'm in it. Like I'm not, there's no way to backtrack. Like I'm already there. I'm like,
you can't undo it. You can't unsee it.
Yeah. I'm like, are you gonna join me, or are you gonna stay asleep? And she said, I want to stay asleep. And so that was the conversation we had. And I was like, okay, I mean, that's your choice. And she ended up choosing a different man and eventually she got married. And recently she reached out and said, my awakening started. Like I'm really like finding Kundalini yoga, and I'm so happy you have this podcast because it's like it's showing her the different avenues, it seems like, right? And so that was really cool. And then but it's so interesting because the conversation that I was like waiting for like many years. I waited for her for like 6 years. Yeah. That conversation came at a time when I'm already in a different place, and so I will guide her and help her and any questions she has, but then it's like in this time I'm in a different relationship that I'm very committed to, and that person we did meet in service. We met on Mount Shasta, and we do things to help the community and to be of service, and there's definitely a lot of that mirroring happening all the time still. Yeah. But it's the relationship that I've really been calling in for so long, where it's like I really wanted someone that I could be of service with together. And the day I met her, she like showed me her card, and she's like, here's all my offerings. And I'm like, I've never met anybody that had all the same offerings as me. And it was just so powerful. I was like, okay, we can like do a lot. And we've done Reiki trainings together. We've done Hape ceremonies for people. We've done sound baths. We've done Kundalini yoga classes, and continue to, it just changes with the seasons, what our offerings are, and we're kind of refining kind of what ways we want to really do it.
I don't think there's anything to say, but I think for us and the awareness we had is, you go back to the movie The Matrix. Mm-hmm. What were they trying to harness? The divine feminine and divine masculine coming together. They kept them apart, kept them close enough that the energy was between them, but yet they kept them apart, right? So they weren't together. We are in a time in our planet that the masculine energy and the feminine energy are coming together. We need each other. Mm-hmm. I love divine feminine. I love divine feminine rising, but I love divine masculine, and we need our men. Mm-hmm. You have the structure and we do the creation. You spend time with the Zagas and the Mamos. They're a matriarchal society, but there is a balance between the masculine and the feminine within their culture. And so moving into that, I think more and more couples will be with the masculine and feminine energy coming together in service to mm-hmm. create things, because it's so awesome. We're not the same. We think similarly a lot of times, but then very different other times. Mm-hmm. And, Michael, what I love about when he teaches meditation or any classes, he dive deep into the science. It's like the mad scientist spends hours researching and looking at this system and looking at this system and comparing this system and the American system, and I just go, oh, I just feel it and this thing's happening.
Right.
Oh, he's like, what? There's a beauty in that.
Absolutely.
And so when we learn to do that dance together, and then we learn to do it with the community, and we learn it to do collectively, how amazing is the world going to be? So I think more and more couples are going to be called together to do this service. Mm-hmm. My advice would be to hang in there, let go of the expectation, do the best you can with your personality, do your practices, but it's really important, mm-hmm. it's important time right now.
Yeah. Big time. I think there's so many shifts, and we're just at the tiniest tip of the iceberg, and so much is shifting around the world. And I mean, it seems like there were these kind of like time stamps when different people awakened, and 2012 was a big one. Another big one was COVID. With these different things happening now, seems like another one's about to come in, and it happens at these times when there's these insecurities, when things really get shaken up, and when the planet's like, okay, let's go, all right, who's ready? Come on, stand up, come out of your sleep, and it's really beautiful to watch how it's happening everywhere, across every race, color, ethnicity, sex, it doesn't matter, and we're all just kind of merging in that seeker kind of excitement.
Yeah, I will say this, someone called us the elders, remember? Someone called one of some consultants and elders. We were like, oh my God, we don't see ourselves that, but I guess we are elders. People are over 60. So we need the younger generation, the boys are in their 20s. It's like the information is so quick, like you said, like this. It's important that they have the depth of the work and people to lean on or talk to about it. Not that we have the answers, but so much of the stuff out there is just surface. It's AI generated. Mm-hmm. It lacks, the depth of the practice of sitting in an ashram. How many years did you meditate with Yogananda and all those other things? You have to apply it in some point to allow it to integrate into your body, or it becomes just a fad.
For sure.
And so I don't know if
you have to embody it.
You have to embody it. I mean, it's that's what you're all about that.
Embodying the energy. We're in a stellar activation cycle, mm-hmm. right? What is a stellar activation cycle? It's the cosmos, it's the universe, it's the galaxy, it's the solar system, all of the grids, organic grids, energy's flowing through the planetary, called tree of life. Mm-hmm. Blueprint, and they're going into planet Earth, into the core of Mother Earth, and then she sends it back out. And then we react mm-hmm. with chaos or with weather right. or all these different things, right? Yeah. But the impetus is the ascension. Yeah. And what's being cleaned is fear or love, right? Mm-hmm. Are you going to be part of this planetary ascension? Are you going to be a part of, it's an energetic ascension. There'll be a physical part of Earth that kind of stays here, and then there'll be a part of the energetic which kind of ascends, like into what we call the fourth, fifth, sixth dimension, or the soul, right? What we call Mother Terra, right? So Green Terra, all these, all these different religions talk about Green Terra and Mother Terra, and so in those stellar activations is your DNA's turning on. Mm-hmm. That's really what's kind of happened, and all the junk DNA that we thought 2-strand DNA. Well, you really have 12 strands of DNA, mm-hmm. right? And all of us are turning that on. And all of the different countries have their own different responsibilities for that planetary grid that they're working on. Mm-hmm. So it's very important to be in synchronicity with your personal light body, with the light body of the planet, Mother Nature, the grid, planetary.
That's why you get moved to certain places.
Mm-hmm.
Like
right. You don't know why you're there, because it's your DNA is needed there to interact with the planet, so that you can open up your portion. Whether it starts at your land first, right? It starts with you owning your little piece of land and working your land, and the Mother Earth was working through you, and then you kind of go into more greater and greater planetary service. To the ultimate is this: humanity kind of steps into its rightful ownership, or as guardians of this ascension process. That's which we have not taken responsibility collectively. Right. We're just waking up to now, but we got to go through this process. What you say is the chaos,
right?
And
well, the indigenous know,
yeah,
and they've known forever.
Yeah,
They've all these ancient cultures, and that's where we're weaving back into that wisdom, because we do have, when we do work with the mamas and the kogis and the zagas, they love when we have a diverse group of people, because it's the DNA from all the different. I mean, they're like ecstatic. Over all of the diversity of the people, because we need it to activate it, not just one. So,
yeah, which makes me think about this gathering I recently went to called Aniwa, up in, this year it was in Northern California in the Redwoods, and it's a gathering of 40 elders from different tribes around the world, and the mamos are, they were there. They're the indigenous peoples of Colombia and the Sierra Nevadas, and I had through my father found both of you to work with the mamos, and that was one of the most profound experiences I've had so far. And so they were there again, and I got to interact with them and spend some time with them and listen to some of their teachings, and so the vision is to have them on the podcast to share some of the downloads for the planet. But I think that being in that container of 40 elders that are really holding down those grid lines and that grid work around the planet and have been doing it for generations is really profound. Like the first night I got there, one of my deepest core wounds got activated from my mirror, right? My partner, and I sat with it, and the process I went through just like opened my heart a little bit more. And then from that opening, it's opened my third eye, which, comes and goes, the opening of that for me. And then I started having visions at night and throughout, that whole time. And it's really interesting how that connection happens. The heart seems like the gateway for everything else to open up.
Yeah, there's a coherence between your heart field and your third eye. And we're trying to lock both of them in, but we're so distracted by the outer world, and we get pulled out of all the time, right?
Yeah.
It takes these type of events where we go, where there's all these they're holding the structure, like the divine masculine sometimes holds the structure, the divine feminine weaves the energy through it, right? So the elders are holding that structure for you to start to work those energies through your system, right? And when it turns on, that's that love upon love upon love, except now it's not so strong, right? It's a little different, because back then it was a new experience, and now you kind of got the flavor of it, and you're like, is it the same thing or not the same thing? Is core wounds here is being cleaned,
right.
But it is the same soul impetus that's opening up your heart, and when you can feel when it opens up how it affects the other chakras. Your heart and then your third eye, and then what happens is they both start to create a coherence where they come it's almost like an infinite, where they both lock in.
Yeah.
And then your intentions and your instantaneous manifestation begins to happen. That's what's turning on at the soul level.
For sure.
Right? That's great that you
That's
presence
when life
that,
gets magic.
Yeah. Yeah, it was that was really powerful to experience and witness it in the moment. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it was like heart open, bam, like it's like it's really interesting. And as we were just talking, I wanted to ask you both a little bit on a side track. For some people that are just starting meditation and getting into the journey, do you have any suggestions for people how to differentiate whether it's spirit or your guides talking versus ego? Like how would, do you have any tips or suggestions on how to differentiate that?
That's a very good question.
Mm-hmm.
Very good, because there's a lot of for me, because I was intuitive my whole life, I was very clear that no entity or energy was ever going to come into my body.
Mm-hmm.
You can talk to me like sitting there and I can see you as clear as a bell, but you're not coming into this vehicle form. That's my personal preference.
Mm-hmm.
I have no judgment of anybody that chooses another path. But the discernment is, there's a lot of energies that are very tricky, and they tell you a lot of things. And, you know, with the use of drugs or alcohol, and if it's not done in a sacred way, can also manipulate the situation and energetically.
Mm-hmm.
I you know, to me, I ask, it's that, when Michael talked about it's that inner feeling, you know, I really, really ask, you know, what is this? And I ask several times. And if I don't get a straight answer, I just send it on its way.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just not available. I don't get freaked out. I don't get, you know, hocus pocus, need to do all these things. So I would say to anybody, really, the first step is get your inner guidance system, really connect with your higher self, get that strength, really know who you're talking to. You know, ask discernment. If it's saying anything about anybody or doing anything other than love-based or acceptance or compassion, it's another frequency.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it could be your shadow self. I mean, it could be you, but a lower shadow. We all have it, a shadow body. So, I mean, to me, it's about that inner guidance, inner discernment, really asking. I think a lot of information out there right now is people that are channeling information that is not necessarily in our best interest.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be like 80% great, and then you get to the last 20%, and you're like, and something might not feel right, and you're like, wait. And if someone's telling you to do things with your blood or your body fluids or your, you know.
Or like animal sacrifice, that's a firm no for me.
Firm no.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking about people will want to do, I mean, implants. I mean, there are such things as implants.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have them. The mammals even work on them. You know.
And we're not talking breast implants. We're talking.
No, we're talking like energetic implants
Yeah.
from other energies.
Yeah.
They are real. They exist, and
Yeah.
a lot of us have implants and entities all in our fields.
We're born into the planet that has already got a Stargate system that's been overlaid and manipulated. So the bodies take it on just from fetal
from just
integration.
being born. So to me, it's, you know, getting rid of those things is the way to activate the light body. Do those practices. Really get that heart going. Get that heart alignment. You can study all you want about meditation, but if you don't feel it in your heart, it's like checking something off on a list, you know, and that you can.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, so the discernment really comes, going back to your question, the discernment really comes from your inner guidance system. And that's discernment, whether you're getting a tarot card reading or a channeling or listening to something or the news or whatever, you know, or a person. Like my bullshit alarm is so big because I can see between the realms. I can't unsee it.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to call people out on it and then blow up every relationship. And
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn just to keep my mouth shut and say, okay, it's...
The truther in her.
I mean, it's like, it's so strong that my kids would be like, I can't believe she's doing
I got that in me too, yeah.
Yeah, so it's, you got to navigate it.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is, you know, I just start doing Om Namah Shivaya, love, bubble up. I don't separate. It's just like, okay, that's not going to be my party. That's your party. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, who am I?
Because it comes to the surface sooner or later anyways, and, you know, one of my teachers shared a story one time. I'll just give a really brief outline of it. Basically, this woman was looking for a book. He kept getting this hint, like, tell her about the book. and then she's in the bookstore and she like walks by the book he was going to tell her about, and she like about to go out the door, she picks up the book and goes buys it. And so he didn't have to say anything, but he was like getting like a really strong hit from spirit to tell her, but she did it anyway. So for him it was kind of like a message that spirit's going to still give you what you need, even though it doesn't have to come through this person or this conduit, however, you know.
Yeah. Hand it to God.
Right.
The mechanism that we have as a third dimensional being is we have to navigate the ego. And that's the great question that you're asking. How do we navigate the ego?
Exactly.
That's exactly
So
right.
what he witnessed is the impulse. He got the intuition. He got the precognition. He got the some kind of thing. And then the ego, before he could even see it, that we're identified with, I need to do something with this. What am I going to do with it? I'm going to do it. Right?
Right.
And we always want to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't know, the way to do it is to be safe, wait and watch.
Mm-hmm.
Because spirit will move you, despite your ego, to do what you need to do.
Right, exactly.
Right? But the ego
Screaming,
thinks.
sometimes like it
Yeah.
does, you know.
So the ego always takes ownership. This is where we forget, or which is when we say we need to surrender, because the ego is always taking ownership of I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really not the ego, it's the spirit that's doing it. And then the ego is, before the brain even register it, it's already claimed it and said, I'm doing all this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm somebody now, right?
Yeah.
And you're off in this other illusion or other fantasy world. But I want to kind of come back to your original question about discernment, right, between the ego and, because this is the most important thing. It's the spiritual guide. It's the guidance system that you're asking about.
Exactly.
It's the guidance system. And what is the guide? It's you with your higher self.
Mm-hmm.
You and your higher self. That's the most important. That's the twin flame. Everybody talks about twin flames, right?
That's true.
Right.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
true.
the most
Important.
important. We always call it God first, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you put God first. You put that relationship first. I put it here. She puts it here. And we listen to that. And we're fulfilled and satisfied and loved, then we can share it with each other.
Exactly.
Which we do, yeah. And
But
God,
if
God
if I'm not God first and I'm over here expecting her to do this or expecting her to do that, then I'm in suffering.
Right.
Right?
It becomes codependent.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly when you have that alignment with God, or we call it God first, because that's the alignment that has to be strengthened. When that gets strengthened, you keep putting that first in your priority, everything else gets stronger. Everything gets magnetized. Your charisma, your intelligence, everything else that you want in life will get when that relationship is magnified. And you're not always going to get it right first. You're going to make mistakes. It's going to be a cloudy day. Someday it's going to be, I don't know, intuition today. But you got to keep practicing, right? And developing that relationship. And that's what you did. You said, God, show me, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, so for somebody, I believe that this can happen at any time in anybody's, like, you can be a meditator for 20 years and then all of a sudden the ego can come on. Like, how does somebody differentiate between like a highest self versus the ego is like, okay, go do this to make money now, and that may not be in service to others, like, because
that's great. So,
because like
spot on.
the aspects of like, yeah, this is trying to tell me to do bad things, like that's a clear line there, right? But like with ego, it's not as clear, because it could be like, hey, like, okay, do this to like make a little bit of money, and then that you can build your community, you could do these other great things with that, but like, okay, is there child labor involved with that? But that's okay. Like, I'll just, like that kind of thing, right?
So I know you. So to me, it's.
I'm eager to jump in here.
Yeah, I love that, honey. When we say God, it's spirit, God, creator. It's really you.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can listen really with purity and honesty with yourself, right? So if anything is to do to make money, it's not high vibe.
Mm-hmm.
It's really something that it's again the ego and the personality thinking that you have to do something to create money.
Mm-hmm.
So don't go do anything to create money. Create from an experience of love and bliss to share your music or your art or your podcast or your happiness, your joy and your appreciation, or that's a different energy. You see, it's subtle, but it's real tricky. And so to me, one of my big lessons, it was right after Michael and I had gotten together, and there's a spiritual teacher named Jack O'Keefe. I don't know if you know her. She's great. She's from Ireland.
I don't know her.
Non-duality. She's hilarious. She's brilliant. She's really funny and direct.
And she went to Hawaii.
And she went to Hawaii, and we were very jealous.
She moved there? Oh, cool.
So, Jack, we had her here
She
for
got
program.
cold,
And,
you would say.
Yeah, she got called. So anyway.
Great place to be called.
I know. That's why we were jealous.
Yeah. So we're in a silent retreat, and somehow I asked a question. It was a small group, and we were in an ashram, and Jack was the teacher teaching the week. And I don't know what the question was, but it was about, like, I could read. I used to be great at psychic and mediumship, tarot card reading, like all of these things, right? And she said to me, "You are not special. You put it like," I'm going to paraphrase. She didn't say it like this. She's very loving and kind and much more eloquent than I am. But she said, like, you have to throw it all away.
Mm-hmm.
It's a trap.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I was identified with it.
Right.
Like, oh, I'm a great card reader.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can do the oracle. And she was like, you need to let it all go.
Mm-hmm.
And because you're attached to it and it's your personality, and allow spirit to integrate back into you in a different way. So she said, for a year, you're not to touch any of it.
Mm.
See, tarot is an outside
Mm-hmm.
to connect.
Man, I got stuck in that. A
lot of people do.
So bad.
It's good to connect.
It's a great first start. I mean, I did it
Yeah,
with Ouija board and all this other
stuff, right?
Yeah, right.
Like you said, you
start
get some
to
stuff,
learn.
and then if you get dependent on it.
It was feeding my ego so bad, and it was like all these things are happening, and then the reality was none of it was happening, and I was just like watching all these videos, like, oh yeah, I was guided to this video and this and that, and I did that for like a year out of a relationship, like trying to figure out what was happening to this person through these tarot cards, and it was worse than like going to someone and asking, because I was just going to a random YouTube video where there was like 4 or 5 options, and I would pick an option, and then that would give me
so here's what,
some insight.
If you were heart-centered
Mm-hmm.
and higher self and a frequency, you could get a message that way.
Yeah.
So tarot cards aren't necessarily bad.
No.
I love there's some great readers out there
Yeah.
at Oracle, and I'm entertained by them. But for me, I was the doer.
Yeah.
You see, I started to get caught in
Mhm.
the trap, and it was like, oh, but you're really not.
Right.
And so when I pulled away from it, I didn't need to tell people things. I
Mhm.
didn't need, it didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
All I needed to do was love them.
Right.
And God would show them the path. And if they needed the answer and they came to me a couple times, I would check in and be like, okay, I can tell them what I see.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it became spirit moving through me versus me doing the
Right,
personality
like
that was Denise.
Your ego wanted to have relevancy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to be somebody.
Right.
You know? Don't we?
Who doesn't feel
Right,
good? Like
right,
people calling you and wanting
Yeah, exactly.
Right, you know, so
Exactly.
What do you think about this?
Right.
What I'm taking, you know?
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it was hard, you know.
It's a big responsibility too, though, when people start coming like that.
And then
Exactly.
yes, and what I found too, which was a very important
They become
lesson,
dependent.
they
Mhm.
become dependent, and
Yeah.
that also feeds your ego because they
Yeah.
need you, right?
Right.
And so then
And
I
then
had
some
this.
people build a whole student about on that platform.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
So what we weren't. It was supposed to be like, what is inner guidance telling you? Let's talk to your higher self. So I push it back into, so the person finds every answer they need themselves. I mean, we a lot of our work, we facilitate that conversation with somebody. So they unlock it. So,
Mhm.
and then we go, yay!
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, see you
Yeah.
later, flying out of the nest. It's amazing. It's really amazing when it happens. And when people really dive in and want to do the work, you know?
It's like the Tao Te Ching, where they say that the true master, people leave walking away saying, I did it myself.
Oh, yeah. That's what we want. That's what awakening is.
Yeah.
You see the energy in them, you hold the energy, and you allow spirit
To move through.
the inner guidance to navigate you in the conversation, so they feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Once they feel it, they experience it, and then they have it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and you can't undo it.
Yeah.
It's so great.
It's the best.
It's the best.
It's such a great feeling.
Yeah, it's such a fulfilling thing
Yeah.
when people have that, and you're fulfilled, and everybody's fulfilled,
Yeah.
right? But to come back to your question about how do you navigate that, right? The ego personality. The ego can't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's so true.
The ego can't navigate.
Right.
It's trying. The mental mind will always try and figure it out and always try and come up with some solution to it,
Mm-hmm.
but it can't.
Right.
It's beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the answer? What's the solution?
Mm-hmm.
It's being in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's letting go.
Yeah.
It's allowing the inspiration. You can have the intention, yes. Well, you have to have the intention, and then you say, okay, show me,
Mm-hmm.
teach me, right? With humility, or with that wanting to serve energy, and then you'll be taught how to navigate it. Like there's so many things that we're like. Bitcoin is this big thing. Should I even go to the whole Bitcoin thing?
Let's go into it. No, it is. For me, that was a whole
We went down that
debate
rabbit
inside
hole, yeah.
myself, and I'm really curious what you guys think about it.
We got some really beautiful friends.
Oh, we have-
and we
yeah, we're
were
so
like,
blessed.
okay, Bitcoin. All of a sudden, Bitcoin's in our consciousness.
Right.
And all of a sudden, some friends start showing up, and they start talking about Bitcoin.
Right.
I'm like, oh man, maybe it's time for us to learn about Bitcoin. Maybe we need to get on the
So
Bitcoin
those
train.
spirits start sending you messages,
Yeah.
Oh
right?
yeah, I'm gonna get on the Bitcoin train. And we're gonna be able to pay for everything finally.
Right.
We're
Right.
gonna have the fiat system, and we're gonna just have no debt and just be like cash
Right.
happy and give it all away. That's
God,
me. That's
God
my
wants us
goal.
to get buy Bitcoin. So we got a Coinbase, and then we're like, oh my God, with Coinbase, they got to learn how. We got to get this. We got to get this. We got to have sovereignty. We got to hot wallets, and and then we podcast. People are talking about how many years it took them to learn the whole system, and we're like, I'm like this,
Yeah.
And we took a stand, like I don't know, maybe 7 years. It was right when we first met.
Mhm.
The stand was we want to create. We know that we can create everything we need with God
Mm-hmm.
from within.
Yeah.
That's the mastery that we wanted to. That's what we want to learn. Right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that? You go inside. You go into your heart. You bring in intention. Like intention is a thought.
You make it sound so easy.
Then you leave it there, and the thought goes out in the world, and it goes and gets attracts all the universal components.
All your
it needs,
experiences that are gonna
and
happen.
it comes back to you greater than the mind would have predicted.
For sure.
But when the mind is focused on it, it limits it.
Mm-hmm.
And it shuts it down, and it causes contraction. And I've had that for a lot, since my little growing up, having no money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Growing up on food stamps and one single mother and single parent.
Mm-hmm.
So those things are all teachers for us to see these things. So it's like, yeah, it's not. It's a progression, right? We don't go from one day I'm going to make the stand. I'm going to create like God does, like the yogis do, and manifest everything I need
Right.
in one
Which
day.
they do.
Right. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've seen it, right? That's
Yeah.
why you go to India to see the egg come out of the throat. There's a golden egg. You're like, oh
Yeah.
my God, why can't I do that?
Right. Right.
I have dreams I do that, but I still haven't done it in this reality yet. So.
Well, yeah. So where did you guys end up? What did you guys
Bitcoin?
end up doing with it? Yeah.
Do you need a computer to be fulfilled?
Yes.
You do?
We wouldn't have had this podcast if it wasn't for the computer.
There is that, right?
Yeah.
This is what's so, right?
Right.
And there's also other technology available.
Yeah. No,
Do I want to be but it is like do I want to be dependent on that technology? And you can get dependent on it, just like tarot.
Yeah.
Totally.
I can be dependent on computers to hold value energetically, or I can create it through my own thought and feeling or an action. So, everything I need.
So I see where this is going.
All the abundance I ever
why
need.
Can't?
Do I want to be dependent on that system?
Right.
Right? Or do I want to be my own node?
Well,
God node of like
that can get hacked any minute, especially when we're talking about Bitcoin, and somebody they don't know who owns all of it. Like somebody created it. Like I had all those thoughts in my mind, and then there's whales, right? Like people that have huge chunks that they can pull out at any second, and then everybody's down. And
what about the 800 million people in India that live in villages that don't have bank accounts?
Right.
What about the mamos? How are we gonna?
We're like, maybe we'll set that up.
We're gonna get Bitcoin for the mamos in the Columbia area.
For Colombia, they're doing it in El Salvador and some of these other places.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they do take it at gas stations now.
Right. Well, I mean, Amazon will take it. Certain Whole Foods will take it.
Yeah.
So even the movie theater will take it. Huh?
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's a great platform because we want to take the sovereignty here.
Right. So we feel it's a great thread to build on.
Yeah.
Conceptually, I love it. And we're not. It's a bridge. We're not all the way there.
Right. It's leading us to something that hasn't been fully manifest yet.
Right. So to me, if you want to dabble in it, dabble in it. The stock market, you could still dabble in it. You could do, or you could not. You could go buy land and grow. We just read something how someone did 4 months worth of work and made $250,000 by charging $5 for people to go pick her vegetables, and they cleaned her garden. I'm like, that's for me. You see our garden out here? It's like monster garden.
Yeah.
I mean, I pickled all day yesterday.
Nice.
Food. I mean, which is great.
Yeah.
And I'll give it away to people and our family. And so for me, Bitcoin, I love the idea. But money is just an energy. It's not real.
Exactly.
It's an energy.
It's an effect. What's the cause? God. Yeah. That's where you want to put if you put your attention on the effect, you're again
Holding on.
For sure.
So I look at things
but we want more of the feeling. Feeling is the currency.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Feeling, when you start to develop the feeling nature, that's where your intuition comes in. That's when the discernment between the ego comes in. Because you cannot unsee it. You have the experience of it. You have the vibration of it. And it's now there in your body forever for you to always have that. And we're keep moving into higher and higher vibrations, and we're not, the personality don't know these vibrations. There's vulnerability when you hit those things. You're triggering safety mechanisms, right? So we're having to navigate all that.
So I would say it's the frequency in which you choose to go into the system.
Right.
If you go into Bitcoin because you're afraid that the whole world's going to end,
right,
then that's what's going to happen. If you go into Bitcoin because you think it's kind of fun and it's like a game, and you're like, well, hey, I kind of believe in this philosophy, and your frequency's really, you've really been honest with yourself, then you're probably going to have a different experience.
For sure.
It's two people can go to the beach. One has a great day, and the other one, it's the worst. They got sunburned and hate sand and knocked over by the waves.
I'll tell you this also. When I was a mortgage banker, and I was first starting my spiritual path, and I had my spiritual books, and I'm going to make some money with my spiritual wisdom here, and I'm doing puts and calls and all kinds of different things in the financial market.
Yogananda's picture.
Yogananda's big. Yogananda's going to help me with and I'm telling you. Spirit will not let you go down the wrong road if it's going to take you off of your divine mission. So again, it's like navigate, right? If doors keep shutting and you keep losing money,
right.
you probably don't want to keep throwing $100,000 at this
right.
thing. But if you are feeling, oh, there's some play in this. This is, some play. Like you can go to Las Vegas where you live, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can go and have fun in a casino. But if you get addicted to that thing, you're going to throw yourself off.
You're going to be on the streets,
right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. The way I looked at Bitcoin, because I had a moment right before COVID when I got some inheritance money and I could have invested into it and it would have been a lot of money now. My whole mindset was like, what is this? What's the energy? What are people using this for? What's the frequency? Like what? And like it just felt off to me in the moment. I was like, it's being used like back then, 5 years ago, it was still like people knew about it, but it wasn't like as big as it is now. And people were using it for some of the worst crimes because you could go and pay for stuff and it would never be
right.
Like
we
it was
never
really hard to track.
We
back
never
then.
thought of that. I never thought that.
And that was like my spirit, because I meditated on it a bunch and I was like, is this what I want to do? And it was like, no. And so instead I invested into art, like physical art of artists that I knew and I really liked, and then I invested in old coins, like physical old coins.
I love that.
And things like that, because when you were talking and talking about the feeling, right? Like I get a real jolt of excitement when I like buy a $5 pair of shorts at a thrift store, but I don't get any excitement when I put in $100 into Bitcoin. It's like it doesn't give me that fulfillment.
There's your guidance mechanism.
Yeah,
there it is.
Yeah.
That's a perfect. That's the discernment.
It's really interesting how that is, and I think about that, right? Like how like purchasing things as a kid was like a big. I had to work. I started working when I was 11, and it was like, if you want the Doc Martens, if you want the Abercrombie and Fitch, go work for it, get the money to do it. And so for me, it was like a big deal to spend my $100 that I worked for a month for, carrying golf clubs, which screwed up my back later in life. The
real cost.
Yeah, like that, working for it and like getting it was like built a different relationship with money and with shopping for me. So now I opened up a business where I have an antique booth in an antique mall, and so I can buy things that I like and get that excitement, right, from like the bidding and that adrenaline, that dopamine hit, and then I can put it up for people to buy it and release that attachment. Nice. And then if they don't buy it, then I still have some cool stuff that I like,
you love it.
So
that's
it's like
both worlds.
Yeah, it was cool because it like combined the things that I liked and the excitement of like going to a thrift store, not knowing what's there, and like kind of like an Easter egg hunt, And so like my father, for example, he like despises shopping. He hates it. And so he doesn't get any of that excitement. But for me, it's different. And so I've found a way to make money doing it and also like feeling that excitement, And
that's how the Andaras, that's what happened with the Andaras with me.
Okay, yeah. What are Andaras for people that don't know?
Well, they're a type of crystal that were found in Mount Shasta. I have some of the original ones from Lady Now. I mean, this is in the old days, probably 30 years ago. I snail mailed a $333 check to a P.O. box with a note and said, I know you have these Andara crystals. Can you please send me some? Mm-hmm. I had a dream about them. And they sent me a box and I have them. And ever since that, it was like they called to me. People see them as glass. There's a lot of ones that I would say are not authentic, but there's plenty coming up now from different places on the planet. So for me, if you resonate with them, great. If you don't, that's okay too. It's like different flavors of ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love them so much, I started, getting too many, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they talk.
Can you have too many?
No. It's like earrings and jewelry with the girl thing, So
Yeah.
you can never have too many.
Yeah.
So they talked to me, and there would be times where I kept giving them, like it would be like, you need this and that. So I started giving them to people, like, they would be called. I had one that traveled all around Egypt. Remember the red one we gave to a young boy with cancer, and I gave it to him like the Philosopher's Stone, and he worked with it. Went into complete remission. I have no idea. I didn't do any of it. Like, it was tapped in every 22 pyramids and sacred temples, and this young man in Bucks County needed this 12-year-old boy needed this Andara, so we sent him the Andara.
Supercharged with the energy
but that was
those centers. Yeah.
So it started moving and going different places in the world and putting them there just out of love, not trying to manipulate anything, but out of offering
like
light,
true grid
love.
work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we have the Andaras, and we do small batch. It's like Christmas when they come. Like you said, I get that love. I'm so selective. I only buy from 2 people that I really trust, and I really know what I'm getting, and I feel it energetically. I can tell how they're packaged when they come in, and there's a whole ceremony and process they go through, and they get washed and put on the land, and then they tell me when they're ready. And they each have a message, and it brings me so much joy when I know it connects with somebody, and then they're going to use it for their personal journey or healing or ceremonial work. So that's what the Andaras have done for me. It wasn't like I'm going to do this to make money in my business. It was out of love. Love and joy, and like you said, finding those cool things in the thrift store. So.
Well, it's great because it combines your psychic gifts with working with the land, with doing your service with the DNA activation and the grid work, and it kind of like encompasses all of it for you, and then the love you're pouring into it, even if it is a piece of glass, it's still holding it inside of there, and then you're putting that into the earth or giving it to this 12-year-old boy, and they're receiving that love from you through that. It can be a piece of wood or a leaf
or a seashell.
It doesn't matter what the physical item is. And I've actually experienced the opposite of that. Like I've had items that I've touched that were like a demon came out of them, where like I had to lay down and I had my eyes closed and I saw these white claws with blood dripping out of them, and I'm like, that was my wallet in middle school. What the hell just happened? Like, whoa, I was carrying that around for all those years, and who knows what effects it was having on me, but
that kind of magic does exist.
Items hold frequency. They hold our intentions and our love or our fear or whatever it is that we want to instill into them, and so for crystals in particular, I recommend highly cleansing them, especially if they've been in a lot of hands in a crystal store. I went during the beginning of my awakening. Part of my vision was to call in all my crystals that I left in past lifetimes. And I went on eBay and I was like, oh, that one's in Turkey, that one's in,
Oh, that's so good.
It was really cool to call them back in. And then just as quickly as I called them in, Spirit was like, okay, gift that to that person and just keep them moving. And you guys know just as well as I do, the crystals, they'll let you know when they're done working with you, or they'll just disappear or leave,
It's really interesting when the mamos love the Andaras. And they love them, and they love to use them in their Pagamento sacred ceremonies. And when they were here, they took some aside and they had them in the apartment, and they were working with them. And they told us not to tell people like which ones were worked with, that they would be called. But I had a list. And so it was fascinating. And then I would write to the note, like I write a personal note to everybody, and it was so, one of them was here 2 years.
Wow.
So that person was called to that particular Andara, and it was spot on with where she was in her life and what was going on. So I love that kind
That's the best
stuff when it happens.
Yeah, or like I'll go to the crystal store and I'll be like, I need to buy that, but I know it's not for me. And then I'll meet someone like 2-3 years later, and I was like, oh yeah, I got that for you 3 years ago before I even knew you.
Here it is, and here's its name. Right?
Yeah, and it's so cool. I think I have 3 Andaras, and one of them I resonate with the most, which was I bought in Mount Shasta, and it was the only one of its kind. There was the last one, and it was like brown with some green, and the man that had the crystal shop, he said that's a shamanic one, and that was really interesting that was the only one left, and that was the one that called to me, and then I have a blue one and a red one I think that my dad gifted me, but that shamanic one resonated the most, and then it's interesting how like I'll have waves where I'll want to work with him for a while, then it wants to sit on the altar and kind of charge and do its thing, hold the frequency, and then I'll feel called to work with it again, and I'll go through waves like that.
Yeah. And they'll appear and disappear. They move through portals.
Yeah.
Like more than most crystals, at least my experience. It's been years, yeah. So.
Are you just as connected with the Andaras?
I am. I love the Andaras. I mean,
I sent him to him when he was a monk.
Really?
And he didn't even know, like.
You were already into it back then.
Oh yeah, I was into it like 30. Like I've had my Andaras like 30 years.
Wow.
Like I have some of the original ones that surface, and they grid with all the new ones that come in, so they all kind of get cleared.
I got this download when I was in meditation.
Yeah.
That I needed to get some Andaras. And this is right before I went to Egypt. I needed them for Egypt, and I was like, I led to all these websites and started reading all about them. And then I call and I'm like, listen, I need to know where the Andaras are. Can I get some? She said, I gave you 2. They're next to sit next on your night table.
You know what they were.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess they're going to Egypt.
Nice.
I already had them before.
I love that.
That's the way they work.
Yeah.
They're like so synchronistic, and they're like, we try and make a mistake with them to go somewhere else, and somebody will like buy it, or it's just amazing how they always go where they're supposed to go. It's amazing to watch.
Yeah.
Really cool.
But it's like, what I love about them is the esoteric, we are energy. Our minds pick us up as physical beings, and we don't react that like we're really energetic beings. We're energy and frequency and love and light, and so working with them is like such a great I don't want to say technology because it makes it so artificial, right? But it is Ascension work, working with the Andara. Andara is like Andromedan consciousness, very high consciousness, and the Andara is like Ra, is God.
And they're in Egypt. I mean, when they moved the Isis temple, that's where they all came up.
It's one of the
we were all getting off the boat. A guy walked, hundreds of people, walks beelines for me, flying in 2 Andaras together and says, Not glass.
You said what?
Not glass. And he knew.
Glass.
I mean, of all the people walking, he beelined.
Okay, so
we had a blackout. No,
we had a little.
We had too much energy, and we were talking about the Andaras. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was just saying about the Isis temple. When they moved, that's when a lot of them surfaced, and they came over, and we ended up going back early in the morning to the merchants, and they took us privately, where we were able to get some beautiful Andaras.
Wow.
And this was in 2017.
Wow.
And what they shared was they're all now being guarded.
Okay.
There was a deal done, and they were mining them. And
okay.
yeah, so we're very fortunate that we were able to have some of those. And
it's so interesting that you mentioned Egypt and Mount Shasta. I mean, those are 2 of the most powerful places on Earth, and that's where they found some. I know that there's pyramids in China. And I know some of them come from there. I wonder if that's associated
maybe.
with that as well.
Yeah. Hawaii, there was a really good group in Hawaii, but they don't have them anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a group that used to have some.
Do you know which island?
Kauai.
Kauai. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I've been to Kauai 4 times, and it's such a such an amazing
spiritual
space.
vortex. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all Lemurian, that beautiful
Lemurian
energy. So anyway,
that's why we were jealous.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you never know. You might be sent somewhere even better. You know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of amazing spots on Earth, and I was really feeling how important it is to be doing this work here in Pennsylvania of all places, because this was like the capital of America. This is where all that massacring of the Native Americans or the Native people of America started, and then it just spread from there. And like driving up to Maine, I mentioned I went to Maine for 4 days. We saw this plaque for like different wars and things that had happened with the civil, Oh, it did it again. Maybe
we're done. Spirit saying, okay, enough.
Yeah. Okay, so maybe we just close it out.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as you have enough, whatever you need.
I think that was awesome. I lost track of time.
Me too. I have no idea what time it is.
Do you want to finish up your Philadelphia inquiry?
Yeah, but it's doing the thing again.
It keeps dropping the internet, huh?
The internet keeps coming out. What we can do is connect to my hotspot, and then we can finish it out.
It's just a lot of energy.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about some high level stuff. There we go. Close everything out.
Yeah, sometimes there's nothing on in the house.
I got 4 bars here, so it'll be good. There we go. We're in. Okay, so we can. We'll just start with.
You were driving to me.
Well, it's gonna start us back on the Andaras.
Oh.
Because it didn't record that last little clip we did. Okay, so we'll just.
Recording in progress.
Okay, so we were talking about the Andaras.
We were talking about the Andaras, and we had a big energy surge here, and everything shut down. So so anyway, when they moved the Isis temple and the Nile, they found Andaras there, and we were there, and someone came up to us, me particularly, and approached me, climbing them, and said, "Not glass." And so we created distractions so we could look at them, and then we went back the next day and met with the merchants, and were able to get some of those original Andaras. And what they did say, there was a deal made where they were behind fences with guards, and they were being mined, so and used for quote unquote medicine, right?
Yeah, that's what the
medicine.
locals said.
That's what the locals.
They're being sold as medicine.
Interesting. Grinded. They were ground up. So, but I mean, they're in the breastplate of King Tut.
Okay.
They're in the artifacts. I mean, they call it Libyan desert glass. BBC did a great documentary, probably that's 15 years old.
And so Libyan desert glass is considered an Andara?
It's because it's from space.
Okay.
That hit the glass. It created a heat.
Mm-hmm.
when you go to Egypt, and there's certain areas of Egypt, and we go over the Nasser Dam, it feels like it feels like an entire bomb. There's no life. So there's definitely something happened there a long time ago. Yeah.
I think a lot what they're finding is like even deeper into the Sahara, they're like going under the sand, and then there's just these tunnels to these giant, basically cities under there. And it seems like the sand just covered all that, and it was tropical at some point.
Yeah.
So something big happened. Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if it was some sort of meteor hit, and then the sand came up from the ocean, or who knows how or
our history.
Who covered that up?
We're going to be learning a lot about our history.
Right.
We're learning more and more. It's not
what we've forgotten. Right?
What if we have forgotten?
Well, Africa has those tubes. Have you seen those down in like around South Africa and Mid Africa, where there's these tubes that they believe was what they were using to mine the monatomic gold when the Anunnaki were here, when we first were seeded here as a human race. Which, there's like these ancient circles around Africa that are just super old, like thousands and thousands of years old. So that to me is fascinating.
Yeah.
That those still exist, and science doesn't know what they were used for.
Or they do, and we're not being told.
Yeah, we might not be. Yeah, we might not be told. So
that's what they wanted when they were grinding down the Andaras, was the monatomic.
Oh, okay.
That's the white powder that comes off.
Okay, that makes sense. So that's what they were using as medicine, which now people are taking the monatomic gold as a supplement.
Yeah.
We
for your
saw that
brain.
a couple years ago.
And in Hawaii they have a really pure one that they make.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's where happened to the guitars. They've been ground up. Oh.
I don't know.
My feeling is like anything. If you hold it in your hand and you put it into your field, you can do a transference.
Mm-hmm.
Like any supplement, any pill. Like we had a client that was doing chemo, and we had them put their frequency change into the medicine, so the body could assimilate it easier. So you could, do that with a vitamin.
Well, I was just talking to on one of the previous podcasts, I was talking to my friend who's naturopath, and we were talking about homeopathy and how you can take the venom of a bee and dilute it in water or some sort of oil, and then dilute it 1,000,000 more times, where the molecule isn't even present anymore, but that frequency is still affecting the soul, and you just take the tiniest bit and it heals.
What's interesting,
this is the real medicine.
That is the real medicine. We gave homeopathic to the mamos who are here because energetically it's really intense for them to come into all this technology and all this. It was so effective. I had to give them 1/10 what I would give a normal person.
Homeopathy?
Yes. Like a normal, like what I would have given any of us. I had to pull it back to 1/10.
Yeah.
That's how sensitive they were to the frequency of homeopathy.
Yeah.
But it helped.
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating. I mean, that also shows how sensitive they are to the frequency of the 5G and all that,
The airport blows them out.
Oh, it blows me out. It blows me out every time.
I know. They just have to come and lay outside. They just come and literally lay out.
Well, there's so much radiation in the plane.
Everybody's stuff, everybody's phones, everybody's laptops.
The Wi-Fi in the plane.
Yeah.
I mean, there was radiation before all that stuff. Now it's even more. I remember when they used to tell us to turn off the little Game Boys because it could affect the flight of the plane. Now they got like crazy stuff going on, and they're like, you keep those on.
But
That's
you can. This it's great awareness because you could live in fear about all this stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But if you put your consciousness, keep part of it here, and you put your consciousness above it, like in where there's no distortion. you just connect into that, it'll bypass it all.
For sure.
It's just a natural antidote.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's okay. I mean, not that it's all okay, but there's ways to work with it.
To navigate.
Yeah. Navigate it. Thank you.
Yeah, there's different things you can get for your phone that will turn the 5G into a frequency that is really good for the body and healing for the body. Like I got, my friend recommended me get, I forget the name of the company, but I got some of those for the back of the, they used to have the stickers that had like the, almost like a torus, toroidal field in it that would change the frequency of the 5G and the 4G. So a lot of that stuff has been tested and it really works.
Yeah, just like you have the Merkaba on your arm, just put a Merkaba around it.
Yeah, yeah.
To align with your own
frequency,
high frequency DNA, divine human blueprint.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, talking about the plane, I remember when I was a kid, and even up till like a couple of years ago, I would be so sensitive to the energy of everybody on the plane, where I would like need to like hold on sometimes. And like I remember flying with my dad, and like then I learned that I can just like merge with the whole, like send love to everybody on the plane, and we're all like one. It's kind of like when you gather in community and you do like a breath together or a couple of breaths. It's like the same thing where it becomes like one nervous system. And we do that in men's work where we'll like merge the nervous systems, and somebody who has a really intense charge will breathe with them to ground that in and to move all that, and then we ground it in through a staff into the earth. And beautiful. So yeah, it's really effective. It's really effective when everybody is in full presence with somebody's experience. That can dissolve and, you know, disintegrate through everybody, and then because it's through everybody, then it really helps clear all that.
Yeah, I love the way you presence that energy work, right? That's what you do for energy work. You did it in the men's group, and you got to see the effects of how that worked. But I mean, all of us have our experiences of being in the plane.
Oh yeah.
Right. You would do it one way. I'm thinking to myself, when I get on a plane, I'm like putting my aura around the whole plane. Right. Putting us all in an envelope of white protection, right?
Right.
So the plane is flying.
Yeah.
And everybody's feeling in love, and everybody's feeling.
I put Sai Baba and all the wings.
Yeah.
You know?
We all have our
Archangel Michael all around.
We all have our different ways of flying.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's great. It's great. But you know, when I learned that I could do that the awareness that my intentions could shift the energy of my surroundings like that was really a big aha moment. You know,
some of my best meditations are on the plane, and when you get above 8,000 to 10,000 feet, you're out of the mass effluvium of the mass density consciousness. You're out of the frequency of the low electromagnetic frequencies.
It's totally different.
You're up at this different loca, right? You're different frequency. There's a clarity there. And then when you do your energy work up at that altitude above 10,000 feet, it's much more, again, when we want to get at that instantaneous manifestation, that clarity of your meditation and your thoughts. That's why it's so potent to work at planes or above high altitudes.
Yeah, same thing with Mount Shasta. When you get up to the top of the mountain, you're above all that, and you're no longer. It's a different energy.
It's a crystalline. It's like a crystalline energy.
Yeah,
crisp and frequency.
The medicine, like Hape, for example, which I use, which is like a tobacco snuff from the Amazon, it had zero effect on me when I was camping up on the top of the mountain. It's so interesting but like on you know, lower down on Earth, it's very powerful, and it, you know, helps me purge and clear any energy that's not mine, you know. Wow. And so I've found that as like a little hack to get into that meditative state, to clear the body, to tap and tune into where I'm holding any energy. And it's been a really powerful medicine for me and tool, because it gets me right into that 0 point. And like we were talking about earlier, how do you differentiate between your energy and others? Like that, once I purge and clear, like, okay, this is my 0 point. This is where I know it's my energy. And then any other energies that I may take on, I know that that's not me, you know?
Well, one of the things you spoke about it earlier is like when you were at the Mamos, or you were out the indigenous, right? And your heart started to generate. What's it generating? It's generating intensity. What's the intensity? It's an electromagnetic field. Your field becomes stronger. We call that sovereign. And once you become more sovereign in your energy field, the discernment of what's yours and what's the other things can't even get in anymore.
Exactly.
You become so strong in your sovereignty that things can't. You don't even need to clear anymore because you change those frequencies. You're the one who's changing those. Those are the lower frequencies coming into your aura, like Jesus when they said they touched his robe, I was healed. Right?
Yeah.
The energy went from that being. That's an esoteric or an energetic exchange, right? That you're speaking of.
Yeah, I feel that way after I go to the gym and I have like a really hard workout. I feel like my magnetic field is so strong that I like nothing, like I'm in that love. I just nothing can touch me because like my magnetic field is so strong. And in Kundalini yoga, there's kriyas to strengthen your magnetic field, to strengthen and clear your aura as well. And it works. It works amazing.
You're running the currents.
Yeah.
You're running the 12-dimensional current frequencies through your spine.
Yeah.
And when you run it through the spine, any type of current creates a magnetic field, and you start to turn on what we call your soul templates.
For sure.
And that's where you can hold
That's
more
like
and more
magnetic
love.
energy.
Love upon love we were speaking of.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when you really start bringing it all in. It just comes very easily.
Yeah, I find cardio works because you're like, and then when you do it consciously, like, oh yeah, I'm doing pranayama here to clear my field, it's even more powerful.
Well, for men, when you release that testosterone with the heavy lifting, there's something, I feel an immediate difference, and I'm sure there's a similar effect with women too. But when I release that testosterone from like the heavy squats and deadlifts and things like that, like I feel like very much so like this is me, like this is my magnetic field. Like it just feels very it like when we put up protective energy, it feels like this is way more strong than that. It just something about it. You know?
I think for me it's like yin yoga. If I do some really good restorative yin yoga, because so much of it is focused on the lower part of the lower chakras, your womb, and your sex. Even though it's not like you're focused on your sexual organs, but that lower part, which we've all been blocked, and with particularly women. And I feel like when you get into that state and you're really present with that energy, there's a galvanization that happens.
That makes sense because for men it's like that movement, that heavy load, and then for women it's like that full relaxation and trust and surrender.
You know, the Zagas did a women's program here, and they did a lot of womb healing. It was extraordinary. And they're going to do it again when we're in Nantucket with them in September for the fall equinox. And so much of their consciousness and awareness of how they move energy is through the womb. And they don't hold on to things. They say, you know, we, even men have, you know, a womb. We just hold the energy there. And they, if you talk to them and something happens, they don't precipitate on. I mean, they don't remulate over it. They're like, it happens and they move on. And it's because they move the energy. And a lot of times they will do a womb massage just energetically to move the energy.
That makes sense.
Fascinating.
That makes
really,
sense.
really quite extraordinary work and very powerful. Subtle but powerful. Really powerful.
I had an ex-girlfriend who it kind of clicked in when you just said that. Like she would move energy somehow that I hadn't seen before. Like we would do a hape ceremony, and she would like move the energy somehow out of her, and I think she was moving it through her womb. Now that I think about it, because it would like go down, and then she would just ground it into the earth, and she was very connected to the earth and to nature. So it makes a lot of sense.
That's that biofeedback loop.
Right.
She was connecting into Mother Earth. That's why our grid and the planetary grid is so important.
Yeah.
Because without that grounding and without that, it's a synergy between the two that helps with the ascension for both.
For sure.
To do that, and that's what the Mamos or the indigenous hold.
Mm-hmm.
It's those frequencies that we think, oh, they're special, right? But it's really in you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just your DNA turning on, and you're like, oh my God, they're so special, because we're still projecting. But it's in me that's turning on.
Yeah, yeah. And as you were speaking, I was also thinking about the toroidal field, like an apple, like that's around us, and it ends here at the root, so that it all goes down and then it comes back up. So even as I'm looking at you, Michael, the eyebrows are pushing the Taurus into the middle, and that I just made that connection too.
Yeah.
You have a toroidic field around each of your chakras.
Yeah.
Right, so that's the
So
third eye.
Yeah.
It's like the nesting dolls.
Right, like the eyes of the
Yeah.
Taurus right here, just
Yeah.
circle. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, it's fascinating. There's so much we could talk about, and I feel like it'll be great to do a second episode sometime, maybe in the future.
Yeah,
you
whenever,
guys are both always invited back onto the podcast. It's been such an honor to have both of you on, and
Thank you for doing this work and bringing all these beautiful messages out to people.
thank you.
It's really important, and so diverse of all the subject matters that you have too. It's great.
Thank you.
I love the way you share your personal experiences, and you're
Thank
bringing
you.
it. Your awarenesses are coming in. You get to share them with us. We get to live them together.
Right.
Yeah, we're all
right.
in this together.
Yeah.
It's an inside job, and yet we're in this.
We're
together.
walking each other home.
Yeah,
exactly.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, thank you both so much. It's been such an honor. Until next time.
Yeah.
So much love
Thank
to you
you.
both. Thank
Love to
you.